すぐにリチムだからこそと見えぬものを信じている
Alright. Seems like we are just stepping in for one of the few early matches this weekend in quarterfinals in Abstraction Cup. And I believe after a match in 2 UTC, we are going to be having yet another one in 4 UTC between user 114514 seat 13 up against Tacos the Pipsash seat 19. Going to be seeing Vayne Paradigmatic up against Snow and Dark Chai. So this is going to be our first losers bracket match, one of the first ones of this weekend. So gonna be interested to see how these two teams perform. Of course, my name is gonna be Popy. I'm gonna be commentating alongside with Dynascape. How's it going?
It is going great. Second match of this weekend. The last one was really good as well, so I'm hoping the same for this. As we said, team user 114514 made up by Vayne _ and Paradigmatic Owl, two players that have really, I would say that they are pretty new in the tournament scene, all things considered, but have really made their mark in this tournament so far. They've been setting a lot of really good scores throughout, and most of the skill sets, and a couple of scary scores, especially for Rise. I think you should really watch out for Vayne when it comes to that. And as for the other team, Tacos the Pipsash, we've got Snow and Darkchizer. Those guys not new to the tournament scene. Snow always helping out with streaming and commentating and whatnot. Darkchizer, of course, playing for the Mexican MWC team. These guys very, very consistent in their gameplay. So I think this one, even just looking at the seedings, this should be pretty close.
I believe we did see Snow and Darkchizer barely winning off of their losers bracket match last weekend, barely winning by like 1,000 points against FC Chokers in round of 16, round 2, I believe. So this time they're gonna be see how they can perform in a much more difficult map pool compared to last round against a higher seed as well. So this one's obviously going to be interesting to see, up down to that combo game that both teams have to have in the following hour.
Exactly, and so pick, ban, protect phase is going to go down. What I would like to see is probably Team Red choosing one of the Rice maps to potentially protect, because I think on Rise 1 last week, Vayne had something like a top 3 score individually. And for Tacos the Pipsash, I would like to see them go like somewhere in the LNs. I'm not sure which one exactly they would feel like Paradigmatic Owl would be worst at, but somewhere there, and then hopefully flex into some of the hybrids later on. But if they can take some breakpoints for Rice, they can definitely step up to the plate and beat out Team Red as the lower seeded team.
Yeah, definitely not the most. You cannot really tell who has that kind of upper ground when it comes to a later game map pool like this. I mean, they both have done like basically perfect accuracy last round. So like, this one's gonna be very interesting. Okay, so blue team is gonna be protecting Rice 5 actually. Huh.
Yeah, pretty interesting protect. It's very techy, it's very strenuous at its KIs. I could see maybe, I would say Team Red hasn't been the most consistent team in terms of getting full combos on maps, so something like Rise 5 could be a choice for them in order to cause instability for them. And so Rise 7 is the protect for Team Red. That one makes a lot of sense. LN2, the ban, also kind of makes sense as well. And so it's up to Team Blue to pick a ban and see what they want.
This is a very interesting start, seeing both two of the Rice maps being banned. Rice 7 being protected. I mean, not banned, sorry. Both Rice maps being protected. Rice 7 being protected is even more surprising. We've seen this map being very easy to choke in like a split second on every single, or all the sections in general. Protecting Rice 7 means you must be so confident in your physicality. And Rice 1 is gonna be banned for on the side of blue team there. I think that's fair.
Yeah, now that kind of introduces a very weird, I guess, position where you have 2 protected maps on Rice, and so there's going to be a lot of contests, I would imagine, on the top half of the pool earlier in, but then once it starts to get to the nitty-gritty, maybe some traded point starts happening. If one team doesn't run away with this match, they're going to eventually need to go into hybrids and LNs, and so with both teams protecting Rice, it kind of screams that they're not, it's not their game plan to really cohesively take points on hybrids or LNs. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see how the first pick goes. Apparently it's going to be Rice 7, their protect. So Team Red trying to fire it off early, trying to get a very, very decisive first point.
Yeah, immediately their protect pick. I think the color is wrong, but red team gonna be picking basically our hardest Rice map of this entire Rice pool. This map features a bunch of bursts that is so easy to choke if you're not careful, including that one long jack in the middle. That part's always gonna be interesting to see.
Yeah, no, we saw that last match. I think both of the players handled it pretty fine, but can't say the same for everyone else in this tournament still. I mean, it's pretty rough, right? Like, you have kind of like what Sparky was saying last match. You have the trill, like very long trill, and then you have a bit of syncopation, a couple flams to go along with it, and then you end off in that long jack. That transition is really, really tough, and you do see Snow in the mirror. Maybe that speaks a little bit to some of the long jacks in this map. Feel better on the right hand. But
yeah, for sure.
Considered, Vayne slightly better accuracy starting out, but as you get into some of these harder parts, it's gonna even out a little bit.
Yeah, I think once the main dish of this map does come in, I would presume that accuracy drops will start to happen at that point. So, but co-op, this is a Rice 7. This map's almost 4 minutes long, and here we go. These little mini jacks along the way in between the bursts can be very easy to choke, and it's not happening so far.
We do see the act drops, however, and so both players dropping down to about 99.81, but they are in a deadlock with both of them being around the same accuracy. Vayne seems to have taken the slightest bit of a lead, but it's not enough to call it a very big margin. I think a couple of grades could definitely swing it around, maybe even a miss, but so far, Team Red up top as we get into a lighter section. It's still very bursty, still something you can't really let the gas pedal off of, but Snow trying to make it work.
Yeah, and the long jacks still kind of appear now. That's not the main long jack that we're talking about, but still, some of these patterns can be very easy to choke. Both players still holding that FC they won. Snow dropping below the 99.7 accuracy range now, though. Accuracy difference is getting a little bit bigger, but here we go, the trills that you mentioned before. This is where the finger control kind of is very required.
Yeah, the finger control, the finesse needed, just like the internal tempo that you need to have in your mind as it plays out and as it attacks you, with a constant trill, but also things that are interlayered. And as it goes on, they get more aggressive in the layering. Soon we're going to see the long jack, though. Let's see how they do on it. Oh, and it claims its first victim of the weekend in Vayne _ Snow. Despite having worse accuracy for a large part of this map, it's gonna find himself with a lead.
Yeah, that long jack is very difficult. Vayne dropping all the way back to the exact same accuracy of Snow's now, but that was quite a dirty miss. So Snow's having not the largest lead, but they have that 2,000 lead so far. I think if nothing, I can't say for sure though. If Vayne does gain accuracy after this, the score can still be shrinked.
Exactly. I think but that miss is definitely not going to help. Could not handle that burst, unfortunately. I think missed on column 2 or something like that. And so accuracy at a loss, combo at a loss. Snow running away with it as Vayne drops yet again 8,000 points in climbing. The map is trying to close out, and I dare say Snow has clinched it.
Yeah, this is Red Team's pick, I believe. That couple misses that Vayne got was a little bit unfortunate, but that's what's giving Snow that basically 10,000 score lead now as we close off the map here. I don't think any big drops is going to happen. Maybe some accuracy drops, but that's not going to change anything. 99.6 FC from Snow. 97k is so strong on this map.
Yeah, I think the jump from last week to this week is very substantial, and so still getting a 987 FC. I mean, everyone obviously always wants above a 990, but really what you can ask for is consistency to be good, and that's what won out Snow in the end. The consistency was there for him on this map that's almost 4 minutes long of like very strenuous bursts, a lot of tricks up its sleeve. Leads Team Blue taking the first point, the first break point, and allowing them to potentially extend their lead with this next pick.
Yeah, I think we did see Vayne having actually better accuracy if it wasn't for the free misses, I believe. So, but it's kind of how it is, right? These kind of more mid to late game maps, you just have to. A combo game kind of amplifies quite a bit starting on, and Rice 5, just 2 protects immediately out of the way.
Yeah, they just want to get into it. I mean, I don't really blame Team Blue for this one either, because when you win on your opponent's protect, you want to have the confidence going forward, and obviously the most confident pick you'll ever have hopefully is a team's, your team's protect. And so trying to fire off yet another bullet into Team Red by going Rice 5, and it's very much in the same vein as the last map we saw, where it's pretty techy, pretty bursty. The bursts aren't really the same way, in which it's like very dumpy. Sometimes there's a lot more Jack representation in this map, but all things considered, I think Snow should be feeling pretty good about this one.
Yeah, definitely want to try to gain that momentum by hopefully taking 2 points in a row by choosing their own protect. So let's take a look at this very calm intro, but soon enough we are going to be seeing more and more interesting patterns to come in.
And as I said, a lot more Jack representation on this kind of map, and it's very interlayered with some of these flams, a lot of 2-3 note graces, and also some smaller bursty dumps in between. So transitioning in and out of Jack mode to dump mode is very, very important. It seems like Snow is handling it a little bit better. If it weren't for that really big burst, Snow taking up I think 3 200s. Vayne did take a 200 as well, but the damage was a lot less on his side.
Yeah, these kind of bursts can be not the most consistent to hit, as Vayne drops another accuracy on that one burst there as well, back to below 9.7 now as Snow gains a little bit more accuracy there. The map has a lot of choke potential, these kind of bursty transitioning, alternating with the mini jacks in between. All it takes is one slip up and a column lock can pretty much happen. Vayne is trying to gain accuracy back now. Score rate is staying at 3 digits so far. These bursts, man, it's so scary every time I see one.
Yeah, and in some of these bursts, like the angers can get very, very long as well. I do know Snow is a very good FFR player, so maybe that plays into why they protected it. They feel good with like FFR tech kind of maps, and it's really showing here. Still able to get a better accuracy than Vayne, if not for those late 200s. I may have spoken a little bit too soon. About a third of the map left, still a lot more bursts to be had. Sometimes they're just a little bit too fast for Snow though, and so even though they had lead coming into the second half, as we reach the last fourth, Vayne finds themselves with about 3,000 points to work with, as well as a miss.
Oh, that is an unfortunate miss for sure. Vayne is getting away now with 8,000 after the accuracy drop from Snow and that miss. Vayne is gaining accuracy once again. How can you gain accuracy at this late into the map? But oh, never mind, drops a little bit, but I don't think there's enough time for them to make enough mistakes such that Snow can get this back. I think this is pretty much sealing the deal. Some of these more... Okay, why does the map not end? But there we go. Wow, like... Almost a 9 TK for Vayne is absolutely insane. Just some unlucky chokes for Snow that dropped their accuracy quite a bit there. But that's going to be a breakpoint trade.
You can see it too, like the 300s were pretty close all around, but Snow, obviously had that miss, but the 200 count is really what separated the two to the point where it was essentially over even without a miss from Snow. Vayne just having less 200s, able to, deal with the high OD of 8 and also just minimizing their 200 count really spoke to how much they could build and accumulate their lead throughout that last half of the map. And so 2 points, 2 break points, and with both teams tied up, we're back to essentially a first to 5, best of 11 or no, best of 9.
Yeah.
And so we'll see how it goes as it's essentially reset as both teams are at 1-1. Wow, Team Red wanting to pick LN3, and I don't know how I feel about this. I mean, I know that eventually you do have to make the switch for both of your teammates. Snow and Vayne have been coming up on their second straight played map, so I get why you'd probably want to get Paradigmatic Owl in. Question is, will Snow come out?
Snow is gonna be playing this one as well, it seems. It's kind of fair. Paradigmatic Owl is known for being quite a strong LM player back in MWC. I think they just changed their name. I forgot. They were full ML, yes. So they are known for playing L1s pretty solidly. Let's see if they can compete. This L1 free map is very, very weird. The releases are all over the place. You have to be so focused and controlled in every second of this map.
I didn't realize that Paradigmatic Owl was full melt until now, but now it's like all clicking to me. I'm like, how did an essentially, pretty new Chinese player in the Vayne _ make it to C13 with someone named Paradigmatic Owl? But yeah, if you're with full melt, you're in good hands. And so Snow's, very importantly, I should point out, Snow is going to be playing their third map and will be forced to make a switch after this. So expect to see either a hybrid or a LN from Team Blue after this is done. But first we have Birth of a New Witch to go through, and it's very, very flowy, I would say. It's pretty dense, all things considered. I think there's a lot of inverse kind of dump things going on, but Snow is actually handling it really well.
The amount of control needed. Snow is having a slight upper ground so far, but as density ramps up, same cannot be said very easily. Paradigmatic is holding just a little bit behind, 9.7 still though. Score is not going to anybody, 500 points, and here we go. Some of these more dumb, weird snapping, I don't even know what snapping they are, kind of LNs. As Snow just dropped below the 9.8 range. I think any accuracy drops can be so possible in a lot of these bursts, but that's a miss from Paradigmatic Owl, dropping all the way back to 9.4.
Yeah, very, very dirty drop. Took a lot of bad judgments during that fall. And Snow will see himself with a 9,000 point lead. This is a pretty average sized map. It's about 2.5 minutes long. So with about a minute left, means, Team Red doesn't have a lot to work with and is going to have to bank on Snow missing. And with the way he's been at it, doesn't seem very likely. However, the patterning is very, very annoying. Like I said, lots of inverse. The releases are always very, very weird. And the mix of just like short, snapped long notes compared to while you're anchored on a very long note, it can be really, really tough and a lot of rooms for errors in a map like this.
I wonder if this is kind of the strategy that Blue Team might be trying for. They might be going for the previous Rice pick just so now Red Team has to pick an L1 so they can do a player switch. Because if they didn't do a player switch here, they are giving the hands of Blue Team to pick a map that Red Team has to force switching. So I guess they have to get this out of the way, but unfortunately that is not going to work out for them.
We're gonna end it with Snow getting a almost 990 and beating out Paradigmatic Owl in both MA and grade count. So technically those misses didn't matter, but they do speak volumes as to how future LN maps may turn out. As yes, it is Snow's third map. He is switching out for Dark Chaser. And we're gonna see him try to play Rice too.
Rice 2 is very interesting. Yeah, like you said, Dark Chaser is gonna be coming in 100%, no questions asked. This map is the sole gimmick of this map is it being under 90 seconds long. It's a minute and 25. Do not blink. You blink and then the entire map is done.
Yeah, I think in terms of like difficulty, it kind of makes sense that if Dark Chaser is to come in, this is what they would probably play, because I would say that Aberica is slightly easier than the other maps. Like, sure, yeah, it's fast jump stream, but nowadays, like, people are so cracked that 263 BPM at this kind of density of jump stream doesn't seem like too far-fetched for mid-seeds in this tournament in a quarterfinals setting. And also just the fact that, like you said, it's 85 seconds. Yeah, you're at like OD 8.5, but you're not straining yourself in terms of like your physical ceiling for too long if you can't regularly handle this BPM. So Dark Chaser gonna try to make things work against Vayne, who has been really, really, really good at Rice accuracy. So I do think that Vayne does have the upper hand, but as we've seen, there's been a lot of breakpoints. We don't know who has, who's gonna win any map. Anything can happen on this.
Yeah, this is 3 breakpoints in a row, back to back to back. Pretty crazy to think about. Let's see if Blue Team can try to break that curse away and get the 3rd point, or if Red Team can still hold on, keep the tension going. This is going to be Rice 2, and we're starting off strong with the long jack. Let's take a look. Oh wow, Wolfers are struggling immediately though.
Yeah, I think they, and especially with the long jack, it gets kind of hard to acclimate immediately into 263 BPM jump stream, so I don't blame them for the accuracies that they had after that section. But as we kind of even out and we get into the combo cap, we do see that Vayne has recovered a lot better than Dark Chaser did. And at a 99.83 versus 99.7, we are going to see an inkling of a lead start to accumulate for Team Red. We're about halfway through, and 1,500 points is, I would say, a considerable amount for a map like this.
Yeah, they're only getting accuracy. It's just the intro that they're struggling, actually, just a tiny bit. Already back to 99.85 pretty much from Vayne. Dark is also holding accuracy, gaining accuracy just a little bit, but it's not going to be enough just yet. 1,400 score lead. It's not really moving as they're holding perfect accuracy. If there's any mistakes that's going to happen, this map's already almost ending. Again, 85 seconds. It's already approaching its end.
Yeah, the margins are a little bit smaller, but Dark Chaser taking about 2 or 3 200s. The lead has soared for Vayne at the end, and I think Dark Chaser got it to about like 0.05% accuracy of a difference, but took more 200s to go along with it. Vayne going to secure this point for Team Red. And, well, fourth breakpoint
I'm
in a
another
row.
breakpoint.
Can Team Red break the curse?
How is this possible? The
It's
match
just one of
results is
those,
gonna
like,
look like a checkerboard.
yeah, exactly. It's just one of those matches where like the other team picks the best map for the team that's not them, and there's, they don't truly know, or maybe like the inconsistencies are just enough so that it sways either way for a match, and you know as we've seen, no map is set in stone for either of these teams. There's not a clear cut winner from the get go, and I think that speaks to how good both of these teams can be on any skill set.
Yeah, accuracy wise, they're actually very similar. You can see some of the times you just see a couple of misses there. Maybe even the one that's having originally higher accuracy does drop a little bit of misses, and that gives the lead to another. But so far, I think there is not much information on who has the upper ground now at this point. Back to back to back to back breakpoints, and we're gonna see seeing Rice free our more longer stamina jump stream pick.
Yeah, you trade the speed for how long it is. I will say there is a lot of jacks in this map too, so it's not like just pure 250 for those 3 minutes. There's a lot of sections where you just have a bit of a break and have to switch your the mode that you're in. You kind of have to think about jacks rather than jump streams. So I think that might be something to maybe watch out for, because obviously if they could handle 263, they can handle 250. But what I think would really get them is maybe any inconsistencies in the finesse points of this map.
Yeah, especially when this map also has much higher density of patterns, as you said. So these jacks are very dense, and those jump streams are also pretty dense as well. And here we go. We're gonna see a first miss from Snow early on. That's giving Vayne a small accuracy in score lead now. 9.9 for density. You can definitely tell it's much denser. Some triples hand stream sections coming in. Snow immediately missing on that one, but trying to recover immediately already. This map's, again, very long. Mistakes can happen at any point.
Yeah, I will say the patterning is like very left to right to left oriented. It's not super like one hand truly or anything like that, but rather flows pretty evenly across both hands. And Vayne is absolutely killing it. I do think Snow has done really well to recover despite the miss. Still hitting at a 99.86 is extremely impressive. However, that miss has led to Team Red getting about 5,000 points of a lead. Vayne showing no signs of stopping. Halfway in, we're at the jack break section, and soon enough we'll get back to the jump stream.
Yeah. Well, for break core stop and go motion section, streams coming in and back and forth. If there's a mistake that's going to happen, this is what Snow would be looking for. A miss back from Vayne could definitely switch the score lead. Accuracy is actually very close now as Snow gains accuracy there. Almost back to 9.9. Vayne drops a little bit of accuracy. Bare 9.9 as well. This is still mostly anyone's game. Snow just needs to find one, and I mean one singular mistake from Vayne. About 4,000 score lead right now.
I mean, you just have to think about how close it would really be if Snow did not have that missed 400 notes in it. It would probably be flickering back and forth by now. And yet, because of that miss, Vayne has such a large lead. If they are able to miss, I do think Snow might be able to catch up by the end. But if they don't miss quickly, there's no hope for Snow.
Yeah, but here's one more section for anything to happen. These patterns are very transition-y, and one mistake is all it takes. Can Red Team break the curse and finally get a non-breakpoint, or is Blue Team gonna continue the streak as Snow drops a little bit of accuracy, 9.89 against 9.92 for Vayne? This is... ending section is very dense. Anything's gonna happen. It doesn't look like it, but that's a miss from Vayne, but it's not gonna be enough. Oh my god.
It's just too little, too late. Look at those scores
Look
separated
at
by
that.
9 300s.
That is insane. Like, imagine what would have happened without both misses.
Yeah, I mean, it would have to be like 100, maybe 200 points at the most, and that would have been a crazy showing. But regardless, Spain would have taken the map anyways. Just a little bit too close for their liking, maybe. And so Team Red, with the first non-break point of this match, maybe they can take this momentum and shift it towards getting 2 match point as Team Blue picks LN4.
Yeah, LN4 is fair in my opinion. I would. This is this the Snow's third map to play, or is this the second? Because I forgot.
I'm sorry,
I think it's second.
what was the question? What was the question?
I was wondering, is this the second or third map that Snow's playing? LN4.
Oh, I think this is the second. Like,
Yeah,
Snow
I
just came
think.
in for last map, and then this will be their second. So
Sorry, my
it
brain
gets
is
hard
not
when you're
really
like
working.
tracking both of them, but like like both teams don't switch at the same time, so they get a little off sync.
Yeah.
But I think Snow would have one more technically after this, and then let's see.
I think it
Owl
is.
just came in, so we didn't have like a counter on the UI to keep track of this. It's tough. This is not something in a usual tournament format, so it's like really hard to get if you're not in practice. It's hard
Yeah.
to keep track of.
It's like, okay, now you switch, but you don't. So this is red team is gonna switch player. They're gonna have full amount or a paradigmatic owl come in, while Snow is gonna stay in to play for their second time consecutively in LN4. LN4 is a very interesting map from an OG map for Razzie. The amount of shields that are gonna be coming in this map are gonna be the main dish. We do see Snow being the one dropping accuracy early on.
Yeah, this is actually quite surprising from Snow to see them adding 99.5 this far into the map. I would have expected them to have kind of that same, I guess, momentum coming in like from the last LM map where they did very, very well. But unfortunately, it's just not up to snuff in terms of going up against Paradigmatic on Hot Saturn. And so for the map way through, we are going to see decently sized lead from Team Red.
Yeah, 9.75 compared to 9.62 so far. 1,000 score lead, both are still holding the FC so far. I think these kind of shields are like, it's very difficult to consistently hold back, I would say.
Oh yeah, I would also agree where it's like really, really hard to hold ag, and especially on this where you have so many shields coming at you so consistently, it can kind of be a bit of a physical test as well. And so I think both players being at this accuracy is very, very astounding, and Paradigmatic Owl showing that they can really handle anything that comes their way as they get up to a 2,000 point lead. Quite a long map left here, so I think that a couple of 200s or maybe a miss or two would let things swing over to the Snow side. But the question is, what pattern would catch out Paradigmatic Owl?
Yeah, this in hindsight doesn't feel like blue team should have picked this one, but I mean, you never know. 9.7 still from Paradigmatic Owl. These shields, you need to have so much focus and control on all of these patterns. One slip up and that's a miss. You forget to hit the oh my god. You forget to hit a shield, and there's the forgetting to hit a shield moment. That's a miss from full amount. I kind of summoned it actually.
I think you did. Really, really unfortunate drop from Paradigmatic Owl, and well, that's gonna let Snow have a little bit of lead, but seeing how the accuracies are pretty close, but Paradigmatic Owl has the better accuracy, I do think that there just may be enough time for him to take back the lead without needing like anything crazy on Snow's side. So we'll see how that works out as this map tries to close out, and it's a relatively like unknowing section with so many jacks.
Yeah, this ending doesn't slow down as it closes out. It only gets a little bit more dense at the end. You think it's over? No, more triples coming at you. They have to be perfect still. Snow cannot drop in this final section. 1,000 score lead. Are they gonna hold on? Oh, this final jack section is so either show 1,230 is what their score lead is having. That miss was a lifesaver for Snow. I'm sorry for cursing, Paradigmatic, but yeah, that's 3-3 now.
So Team Blue able to scoop up their points. Team Red back at it to pick, and things are at 3-3 now. We are a first to 3 best of 5 series as it's getting really close. And like I said at the start of this broadcast, you know, once that rice category starts to dwindle down, you have to seek other avenues of winning. And so as we look towards the map pool, I'm not sure what we might want to see from Team Red. I mean, they still have Rice 4 and Rice 6, and I don't think those would be like totally bad picks for them. The question is, there's only one LN left, and that's probably going to be picked at some point. How do both teams fare on hybrids later on? As Rice 4 is picked, we're going to see some Jack action. We'll see who's up here, because again, I think this might be Snow's last map if they decide to stay in, and then Vane's on a fresh start.
I wouldn't be surprised if Dark comes in for this as well, but let's see. I think Dark is known for being quite good at these like kind of simple patterns for Rise, so I wouldn't be too surprised if they have a swap. But so far, Snow is not leaving the lobby. Does 3 in a row still apply in TV? I think it's a yes, right? Is it a no?
No,
Is it a no?
anyone
I
can
don't
play
know.
the TB. Ref is
Oh.
correct in that sense. Which would be really, because it would be like really messed up if you went to TB. It's like, well, now you're a player that's worse at like hybrid E maps, can't play. So no, at
Because I don't
TB,
know.
it's essentially a full reset and letting both teams play on an equal, in quotes, playing field. And so, well, we're gonna get into Wentz. We'll see how these guys do. It's pretty fast. It's not like super dense all the way through, but Dark Chaser is coming in.
Yeah, it is Dark that's gonna get in. Yeah, because I remember it being also a thing. I remember the 3 in a row also apply. That's why I was a bit confused.
Now you got me checking the forum post, because that honestly, I was saying that, but like that was just my like intuition in the sense that I would never like I would let them, you know.
Okay,
Still
I'm
play
also
the TV.
reading the forum post now.
All right, we'll take a look at the forum post. You even got the ref on it, but here we go with this next map. Things are getting pretty close. Both teams 3-3, looking for the 6th point, and well, looking for a very big map to possibly turn the tides.
Let me see. Oh, see, wait, I can't really find the information in forum posts actually. But, anyways, we're gonna be looking at this map now. I've seen players do absolutely insane scores in this, so let's see if the same can be said. Vane so far having 99.96%. Bro.
Yeah, here we go into one of the more dense sections. It's layered with a lot of quads as well, sometimes starting the phrase, but both players doing very well on this map. Just Vane's doing a little bit better. And so, I mean, I said it wasn't like too chock full of density, but I think that's more me thinking about how the density is spread out, because it's not like three, like a lot of 3-note and 2 notes. There's a lot of variety in how many notes are in the represented chord.
Yeah. There's a lot of anchors being in play in this map. We can see some of the bursts earlier as well. 99.94 from Vayne up against Dark's 99.8 so far. It is Vayne that's having the upper ground in terms of accuracy, but the anchors are only gonna amplify as we go into the final quarter of the map. So look at that, like kind of anchor there. And here we go, this final section, if there's any 50s or 100 accuracy drops that is gonna happen, it has to be here. Dark is holding consistent combo, but so is Vayne, 9.92 with a higher accuracy. 9.92 is insane, staying at the 4,000 score rate so far. If nothing's gonna happen, it is gonna go towards red team, but these sections feel so scary, it's so easy to drop, but no. 997.5k with 95 perfects. What are we doing, bro?
Man,
what are we
picking up
doing?
a DDP on this map, and like you said, like those anchors are really what could be the deal breaker for a lot of players, because some of them are like really awkward 3-note anchors on a column, and no, Vayne just absolutely pushed through it, picked up really good accuracy. I've got to expect this to be, one of the tops that we'll see this weekend in a 997.5. Absolutely insane, and definitely earned their 4th points in this match. And so 4-3, I believe it is Team Blue up to pick. You've seen a lot of breakpoints. Maybe if Team Red can pull out one more for this, I think they're smooth sailing to a victory here.
Okay, seems like the rule does apply for TV. So no exceptions. You cannot reset. Amazing.
That's actually insane to me. But like, I like not in a bad way or anything like that, but just like I am very surprised that the 3-in-a-row rule applies to TB. I guess it does lead into more focused planning towards the end of the set, but man, that could that can be like some of these matches that we'll see like later on, like semifinals, finals, even grands. I expect them to be like not walkovers at all. Things like 7-5s or 7-4s or 6-5s, stuff like that. That's where you're gonna have to see teams plan like accordingly throughout a set. And if you know anything about OSU players in tournament settings, it's that they don't plan at all. Like last match was one where the team that picked first picked the other team's protect and violently lost on it. OSU players aren't good at planning, so I expect that rule to be something like an actual point of contention for some of these closer games.
And it's especially I didn't know this too anyway. I especially in this kind of case, because this would be Snow's first map. But we have 3 points, at most 3 points left before TB does happen. So if Snow plays all these 3 maps, that means Dark has to play the TB. If they want that, then it's fine. If they don't want that, they have to have Dark play once still in one of the picks. I would presume in Rice 6, but let's take a look. This is LN1 Castella's Invasion of Stray Cats. This is going to be our close to timing hell LN1.
Yeah, and I would expect Snow to be a lot better on this map than the other LN map, and it looks like I am correct as is. 99.83 towards the 99.79 from Paradigmatic Owl. So Snow getting a little bit of lead, but this is a long map. The density is very high. There are a lot of notes. Obviously with LNs, you care about the front and tail end of notes, so expect long combos and, well, a very long drawn out accuracy battle on this map.
Yeah. So far, it is Snow that's having the slight, I mean slightest upper ground in terms of accuracy. Paradigmatic Owl, probably 9.74 compared to Snow's 9.78 now. I think this map being quite long and draining as well, because there is practically no breaks in terms of release factor in this entire 3-minute and 35-second map. And all it takes is a little bit of mistake, a little bit of stamina issue, and if your too tired to focus on these releases that so many accuracy drops for, they have to be perfect here. Even in these like kind of break section, there's still so much releasing factors going on.
Yeah, there is, and the fact that there's so many shorter long notes like sprinkled in to just kind of like play into the dump factor a lot more. I do think that releases are a tough battle, and Snow falling to one of those releases that I was talking about, taking a miss, and unfortunately for them, Team Red is going to take the lead about 2,000 points. We're about halfway through, so it's not over just yet, but that is definitely going to put a damper on his plans for now.
In fairness, that miss was so clean. It was like really clean. So Snow is still having that accuracy lead. But of course, that is a miss in the end. Formal is going to be having that 1,000. I keep saying Formal because he is changing it into Paradigmatic Owl. But 1,000 lead, 1,000 score lead is what Paradigmatic Owl is having right now. I feel like just even one accuracy drop can still change things.
Yeah, I would say either, like, at this point, and with how long this map is, I don't even think, like, a drop is necessary. Just, like, a couple of bad judgments or a gradual decline in accuracy from Paradigmatic Owl would be needed for Snow to take this map. Of course, a miss could always help, but if Paradigmatic Owl takes up any more late 200s, it could certainly swing the tides over to Snow before the map ends.
It's, like, slowly shrinking as Paradigmatic Owl drops a little bit. 600. It's dropping a lot more. I'm just seeing it slowly shrink back to 0. It's at 200 now.
Yeah, like I said, a gradual decline in accuracy, but there's only one section left in this song. Is it going to be enough for Snow to take the lead at the very end? It's going to be close. It looks like it's going to be a photo finish. Last couple of long notes coming out, last couple of shorter releases.
Oh, God.
And, oh man, no,
Wow.
It was not enough. It was so close too. You'd have to imagine if Snow didn't pick up that bad judgment, or like maybe could have done a little bit better on their 200s, but no, it's just so unfortunate for Snow. That one miss really ended it all for him. And Paradigmatic Owl, yet again, a close one, is going to take this LN map. And Team Red at match point, going to look for the best map for them to end out this match without having to get into any sort of tiebreaker trouble. And I should address, Snow says that he did plan for the match accordingly, but didn't know the rule. I respect. Out of all of the tournament players, no, I trust you. So don't worry.
So, I mean, planning is a play. I think I was looking forward to see like players trying to use this free play rule to their advantage at most, because you can try to force other team to switch to a player that cannot play LNs, for example, and by that you pick LNs and you win easily. Matches a little bit more interesting, I guess. But right now, match point for red team. Not sure if those kind of big brain plays are gonna come in. Rice 6 being chosen.
Yeah, that'll clean out the rest of the Rice maps, and I don't know how to feel about it. Well, obviously Team Red would probably want to pick this at some point anyways. It's just that from what I've seen so far on these maps, like the Rice has been decently close, all things considered, right? And there hasn't been like an absolute blowout on any of these maps, on any of these maps in the map pool. So Team Blue looking to salvage what they can, because again, this is a losers bracket match. These teams are fighting for their lives.
I mean, this one's... Is Dark gonna come into play this one? That's my question.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, I'm not sure what counts both teams are at, but We
I
are
think it's
having
one
a
for
little bit of
both.
trouble for downloading the map. What's there? I know there's an update for one of the maps. It was for the other map. Is for Rice 5. So them not having it, I wonder if that'll be a problem for other players this weekend.
Interesting. I mean, I don't think any like huge changes are gonna be a thing here, but we'll see. This because okay, the reason why I was wondering whether or not Dark could play this is if we haven't seen Dark play hybrid elements, that means he is probably not confident in that. So if he doesn't play this, that means Snow will play this and probably the next hybrid as well. Then if they do have that chance of getting to TV, then Dark Chaser has to play the TV, which I'm not sure if that's the best strategy for blue team, but we have seen Dark Chaser having just a little bit lower accuracy compared to Vayne in terms of Rice still. So this is kind of a typical situation for tacos.
It is, and it seems like players are starting to solve their problems. There was an update on Love on the Brain about a day after it was uploaded. I don't think there's an announcement for it because I believe it's probably like a minor tweak or something like that. But I think both players are probably going to be fine. I mean, Vayne had it, Dark Chaser is fixing it. Get right into the action pretty soon, but definitely something to kind of cut the tension as Team Blue is essentially on their tournament lives at the moment.
It's looking like Dark Chaser is going to be coming into play, knowing how he's trying to he's the one trying to fix the update issue, and there it is. I think they're back. I think Vayne is listening to. They're just testing things, I guess, but okay.
Okay. Think we're good.
Okay. I think we are in. I think.
Crossing my fingers for this one.
I guess it's just unexpected for both teams.
Yeah.
Okay. Ready up. Let's. Oh, timeout. Okay, never mind.
Oh, I see. We're trying to figure out the rate because 1.05 is the selected map. However, it should be the. Wait a second. What's going on here?
Okay, what's going on? Let's go. Okay, Mapu feed
We're
says
checking the
it's
rate. Yeah.
the cut version. It
It is
should
saying
be the cut
tournament
version, yeah.
cut version, but it is base rate. So I think it's hopefully that's something that needs to be adjusted, just like on the referee sheet or something like that.
Just to get close to you, we burn something today. And I'll run for miles just to get it.
I guess there's some changes to this because I don't know actually. Well,
Didn't you do
there you go.
the showcase?
Huh? I did. I'm
Do you know what
pretty
rate
sure
it was?
It was
if you remember?
1.0.
Okay.
I'm
okay.
pretty sure it was 1.0 too. Oh, as well, not 1.02, like 1.02. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's good that we caught it really early on because, well,
It would have been really bad if it was
exactly.
long.
Like at least it wasn't like during a double header or like a really long block where it needed to be adjusted really quickly. Like at least now we know we can just on the rough sheet verify. Bit of a long break, bit of an intermission. Hopefully the players aren't too iced out from this and haven't lost being warmed up, but we'll see.
Think about how short it would have been on 1.05 when base rate is not even 2 minutes.
And yeah, it's funny because like we probably could have played this map about 3 times through since the start of the technical
Yeah.
issues, right? But no, it's totally fine. I mean, these things happen, and of course, it's good that we have such an experienced team that like both the streamer and the referee are on it. They know what to do and they know how to amend it, and everything's all good. And referee is giving out the go-ahead, asking if both players are ready. Got Vayne and Darkizer loaded up, and with start command out, we are gonna finally see love on the brain.
Everything is smooth sailing now, so it's gonna be the map starting in 3, 2, 1. Change. Oh my god, let's go. I finally did that. And is red team gonna be able to pull off that momentum that they have gotten and get the final point, getting first to 6, or is blue team gonna deny that and take another point and try to keep on holding, surviving for just a bit longer in this tournament?
Such an important point for Darkizer to uphold.
Yeah, the pressure is on. Starting off, seeing both players having basically the same accuracy, these kind of dumb patterns can be easy to choke, or it looks simple, but these kind of anchors that come in can be very easy to drop accuracy.
Yeah, and I would say overall the vocal dump isn't like super consistent. There's a lot of breaks in between, but really it just takes like one unnoticed mini jack or one hand trill that you aren't expecting, and there goes your run on it. And of course, sometimes density gets a little bit higher on parts like these, and sometimes you miss because of the density increase. Darkizer falling down to 99.45. That is not what you needed on this map in this moment. You are on your tournament live. Tacos the pipsash. You can't be doing this. Team Red now running away with it. About a fourth of the map left.
Yeah, that was such a dirty miss. There's a miss back from Vayne. That's quite a dirty drop, but not dirty enough as Dark's 8,000 score lead still for the side of Vayne. The map is already almost ending as a second miss follows up for Darkizer. I think this is probably it. Unfortunately, we're not going to be seeing a next map coming in. Tacos the Pips was finding a couple drops there, giving 16k lead towards Vayne. And with that, they are going to be getting their 6th and final point in this match.
Yeah, and so congratulations to team user _114514 for advancing into the quarterfinals conditionals. Their matches are not done just yet. They have one more for this weekend, but unfortunately for Tacos de Pipsash, this will be the end of their run. And it was a really, really good showing. Like I said at the start, there were a lot of breakpoints to start it off. They had really good momentum, took some unexpected points, made a lot of the maps close, but unfortunately just did not have the consistency to finish it off. And so they will be bowing out of this tournament as user _114514 advances through. And this was the second match of the weekend. There's a lot more going on to be seen. So let's maybe take a look at the schedule and see what we've got upcoming, because I know we have a big break. And well, let's see here. Yes, they're going against either girls last tour or QQ robots. Yeah, and so the winner of that will face these guys. And man, the quarterfinals is always crazy. Looking at the schedule, huge block coming up at 12 UTC all the way to 15 UTC, where we've got 4 hours non-stop of action. And then of course later on a couple more matches. So make sure to check out what you can and do not miss out, because there are a lot more great matches like this one to be had. But any other closing thoughts to end off our stream?
Not much, just best of luck. Great, commendable work for both teams, and best of luck to user 1145144 for continuing their journey in the quarterfinals of Abstraction Cup. It's not going to be an easy ride, so if you do want to see them compete, stay tuned for that in this channel. But that's going to be about it for this stream, and we will catch you on in exactly 7 hours, I think. Yeah. Goodbye.